Good morning, everybody. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're
Daniel and Jordan.
Daniel. They couldn't come up with a name, so they went with their own names. But that's the way our heroes roll, and it's gonna be okay. So sit back and enjoy, and let's welcome Daniel and Jordan. What had to rhyme? The Daniel and Jordan Show.
Welcome back to the show, the greatest one on the internet, the greatest one you've seen so far, and the greatest one you've tuned in today. Good morning, Jordan.
Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
I'm good. I'm getting better and better at that. I feel like. Anyway.
Well, you got it down to a rehearsal.
I have plenty of practice.
That's true. That's true.
I noticed whenever I was pulling the footage from last week's episode with Rita, I didn't do that. I was pretty upset with myself.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really think about it. We didn't really do a lot of our old little rituals or anything.
Yeah. Which I guess...
It was okay. Tornadoing, so that we have an excuse, I guess.
There was sometimes I was editing the audio. There was times where I would hear like, and you're like, well, there's some thunder going on out there. It was bad.
Yeah. You were like getting calls from people. They're like, "Are you at the tornado shelter?" and I was sitting there horrified. And you're like, "No, we're about to film a podcast." And I was like, "All right, well." And Redneck Rita got in here, and she's like looking out there telling me a story. And I was looking out there just watching these like 60-mile-per-hour winds going, not hearing a word she's saying, just staring out the window.
Jordan looks out, and the trees are touching their toes.
She's telling me stories of being lifted in a trailer in a tornado.
Well, the good thing is we were safe, but the storms, I mean, they did come through, and that evening it got rough.
Yeah. We didn't get any of it, and it's easy to think that it wasn't that bad when you don't get any of it. But a lot of power outages and a lot of trees being lifted because you forget like tornadoes are damaging, but the straight winds are just as damaging.
Brutal. My uncle was out 48 hours without power. So he ended up going to get a generator. Yeah. And then I guess the insurance company is going to cover that, I guess. Maybe, hopefully. Did you know, so the storm, do you know anything about insurance and home insurance?
Take a guess.
Okay. My wife's uncle, they had their roof damage from the hail. Uh-huh. But the insurance people said they weren't going to cover it. Because something about it wasn't hail damage, but it clearly was hail damage. I'm like, so for all you people out there that have hail damaged roofs, find you a general contractor, so like a roof people, and they will find the damage. They will walk the site with the insurance guy and say, hey, this is hail damage. Like they'll go to battle for you, which is nice because they didn't do that. They were like, okay, well, I guess we'll just buy a new roof. So I ended up getting a metal roof, and I was like, damn, y'all should have called a
metal
roof
people. Though, is that not just like loud as hell when the hell's hitting?
I don't know. I feel like on a light rain, I would sleep good.
Yeah.
But if it was hailing outside, I'm staying awake. There ain't no sleeping.
I know.
Well, what a week it's been. We've got the opportunity to film a new D&J production video, which was super fun.
D&J production, yeah.
I had a blast. It was fun to like film a skit. I think that's like the longest skit and thought out skit that I've filmed outside, which
is shocking considering there wasn't that thought out. We basically just got the outfits together that day, went out to the location that day, and had nothing written that day. And we showed up and we just hammered it out together. Tried to make each other laugh.
And it was fun experience. We got to meet some walkers, I would call them, along the way, people walking the trail, and they're looking at us like, what the hell are these guys doing?
I've got pistachios glued to my face.
And I look like a warlock.
And that's all Daniel's personal makeup. Did it to himself. I just held the phone up and he did it himself. It's been pretty impressive, to be honest.
Well, maybe playing in mommy's makeup when I was a kid pays off. Believe it or not, I got a little bit on today because I got this little red bump here.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about getting some man powder for our face so we look less shiny.
Yeah, so hopefully coming soon. But if you guys didn't know that, if you're listening and you're just a listener of the podcast, because we do have those listeners, we do have skits available. All this stuff, all this show is filmed on YouTube. If you see a short on YouTube, it's always linked back to some sort of video. So it's there for a reason. We do it strictly because we enjoy doing it, but we also do it to try to get a good laugh out of you guys. And, it's good humor, I feel like. And it's old school feeling to me.
Yeah, we got like 4 or 5 skits out there. So yeah, and I feel like a lot of them haven't been watched. So go out there and check out all of our skits.
You got a job to do right now. Stop listening and go watch. What about your week, buddy? What all you been doing?
Well, it's been a musical week for me. We went to a concert and had a blast. I hadn't been to one in a while, and I really needed it because my band's EP comes out tomorrow, which when you hear this, it will already be out. So please go listen to it. It's Suggestive Themes on Spotify or whatever you listen to. We got 4 songs, kind of emo, pop punk, got some hardcore elements, shoegaze. So I left that show all inspired. You know, everyone was running around. They had circle pits going. People were crowd surfing. I saw a guy get thrown over the railing and just land tailbone first on the concrete.
Poor
It
Johnny.
was awesome.
Yeah. I would suggest listening to it too. I've kind of been shown some songs along the way, some behind the scenes action, hey, Daniel, check this out. So I feel a little special, but it is really good. I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. I love music. I love pop punk. And it's something that you hear that song and it's just like sticks in your head. It doesn't take much to remember, which is great for me, and it's catchy.
Well, one thing I noticed at the show, do I have to shave the mustache? There's just too many white guys with mustaches.
Well, oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
is.
And at a show
Yeah.
like that, for one thing I noticed, all the young kids, they're all trying to look like old people. And I'm trying to look like a young guy. So I fit in fine.
You're going to have to change something.
But I starting to I just look like another dude sitting there. And I guess whatever. I guess I have to accept that I am just a white guy.
Yeah.
But do I shave it?
Your mustache?
Yeah. Should I just grow it out to where it's like cartoonishly weird
That would be
and
cool.
curl it?
That would be cool.
The
Are you
sides?
trimming it now, currently?
I trim the sides. They're getting a little ratty.
I think you keep going with your look because not everybody looks good with a mustache.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
It takes a lot.
It does take a lot.
Listen to this, though. Dustin has a mustache,
Yes. Way
oddly
better.
enough. He's a fireman.
Yes.
So,
Makes sense.
you got a mustache. So you can't have the facial hair and have like that, whatever it's called, respirator over your face. It is what it's called. Give me my check mark.
Wait, he has to wear a rest. Oh, because he's a fireman.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were talking about like a sleep apnea thing.
Yeah, like Rita.
Yeah, like Rita.
So you can't have the facial hair because it breaks the seal or something. So he shaves everything, but keeps his mustache. Evidently, everybody on the fire department has had beards upon some form of life because the other day there was a little call out here and they rode up 2 trucks deep. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a fire. It was just an alarm. Every single person that got off that truck had a mustache.
Yeah.
I said, is it the thing to do when you're a fireman? You have to have a mustache.
They take one good look at my facial hair and be like, you're not qualified.
They'll probably take one look at your body and realize you're not qualified. The mustache is the last thing they're looking at.
Yeah, it's just confirmation. Like, yeah, we were right.
Oh, that's cool, man. I'm glad you had a good week.
What about yours?
I fell off the ladder the other day.
That's what I heard.
I was staying in my back porch. We got that awning built, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take some time and do a little staying. Well, realized I was just in a rush. Leighton's been extremely sick, and trying to get that done for Whitney and for us, obviously. But I was up on the ladder, and I guess it was on a little hill or something, and I kind of leaned to get this, and it was off balance.
Okay.
So when it leaned and hit, it really startled me. So I startled, and when I did, the whole ladder ended up falling.
You fell sideways.
Yeah, I fell sideways. The stain, I jerked. So stain literally just goes up and then all over my hat, all over my hair, all over my arms, the concrete. And I'm pissed at this point because it's stain. It's hard to
Right.
get off. And so I walk in, or I tell Eli, I'm like, Eli, go get a towel. And then I walk in and peek my head into Faye, her my mother-in-law. And I was like, do I have stain in my hair? She goes, oh, yeah. And then I go in the bathroom after I clean it. I don't even get it off me. I just wipe it to where it's not dripping. So I'm wiped.
Okay.
And this is non-transparent stain. It's completely solid white stain. Okay. You can't see through it. And it's all in my hair, dude. And I end up using hand soap to get it out. Takes a minute. It was a bitch.
So you had an injury, correct?
Yeah, I landed on my ankle or something. I sprained my ankle, but my knees bother me. But I don't think it's from that. I think it's from filming that water slide video now that Katie brought it up. I'm thinking like, did I do something? I mean, I hit myself in the face with a cane. So maybe I did something to my knee as well. I don't know. But dude, my knee is, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. I told you the other day, dude, your dreams of the NBA are over.
They were never... Like you and the firemen, they just look at me and they're like,
once you stopped growing at 16 and you're 5'8".
Yeah, usually like you grow and then you grow through life and then you start to shrink. As soon as I hit my peak, I started shrinking.
Yeah, you can tell by looking at your grandma. It was never going to happen.
It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And my grandfather, Meemaw told me the other day, which gave me a more boost of morale. She was like, you know what? You're built just like Daddy was. And I'm thinking he was stocky, right? He was a nice stocky feller, but he was real short when he got old.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, can you imagine us 50 years from now?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, everybody, I'm Daniel.
You see my grandfather. My grandfather had this massive nose that had been broken about 6 times, all crooked. Yeah. And he was built like the penguin, like Danny DeVito, basically.
That's the worst. The worst person to be compared to. The penguin. And especially the Danny DeVito penguin. Oh, my God.
That's basically what he was. So.
Well, amongst all that, we're going to Florida soon.
Oh, yeah.
Very soon.
I forgot.
And it's in July. We got to talking about, I'm going to just be blunt. Did you know dolphins rape humans?
Humans?
Yes.
Oh, wait.
People.
I think you got they rape, but they don't, I don't think they rape humans, buddy.
Dude, I heard and saw that dolphins will grab you.
Do they have external penises? Sorry, peni.
Good question for Google.
How are you going to...
So they will push you out, grab you, hold you down, and rape you.
Wait, like they get their fins wrapped around you?
Yes. They are the sexually aggressive animals.
They don't do that to humans. I know that they do that to each other, though. Right? That's
They
common.
will gang rape a human.
That's not true. Gang.
But honestly, they will take you out there with their friends, get you in the most vulnerable position, wrap their little...
One flipper on the back of your head, pushed down.
One flipper.
Were you saying it's more, it has to be more rare
Listen
than a
to this.
shark attack?
Shark attacks fall under the death rape of dolphins. That's what... It is more likely
death rate or death rape?
I don't know. Okay, let me clean this up in one little fact.
Yeah, okay.
You are more likely to die from being raped by a dolphin than being attacked by a shark.
I feel like that should make headlining news.
Note to self, just be careful.
I'll have to bleep a lot of this episode.
A lot of dolphins and...
So if you understood any of that, we're talking about something dark.
Yeah.
That's happening in the ocean.
Dark
to
side
humans.
to the ocean. And we're not talking about the deep.
Yeah.
We're talking about the dolphins.
It might be deep.
Well, now brings us to the best time of the show, the one that I look forward to every Sunday. And I know you guys are here for that reason. And, maybe you're here for the laughs, but maybe you're here to learn a little bit something, through life. So, with that being said, I would love to introduce the greatest person I know to explain these big words to me and teach me a thing or two, my best friend, Mr. Jordan Hunter.
Thank you, Daniel. You're my best friend, too.
Yes.
This word of the week is devotion. And I've been thinking about devotion in the sense of kind of like me and Caney. And, devotion is kind of like commitment in a way. And I guess like if you really want to think about devotion, I think of like when I was, Christian, devotion is you're devoting your life to God. And so when you're doing your devotional in the morning, you are spending that time with the Bible or your prayer or whatever to show that you are devoted and that you're spending your time in a way that reflects that. Mm. And so I've been thinking a lot more about devotion and on just like everything in my life, my thoughts, my actions, everything that I'm doing and trying to, we talk about intention and like the things that matter to us, things we're grateful for. And I'm wanting to think more of my life as devoting my life towards those things that matter the most to me, as opposed to, just enjoying, having fun, doing the things I do, and, going to my animal self, but setting my intentions to devote my life, spending time to reflect, and meditation is my way of devotion, I guess, right? Is reflecting on the things I'm grateful for. It's a practice. It's like you have to intentionally do something to show that you are actually devoted to it. And I've been thinking a lot more about, I've heard like commitment. There's no such thing as 99.9% commitment. You're either 100% committed to something or you're not.
Yeah.
Right. If you're 99.9, that's not commitment. That's you wanting to be committed.
Yeah, I agree.
And you were talking about Cadence and her basketball, and I was thinking of devotion. I've heard people talk about like playing guitar. It's like you have a devotion to the instrument. It's a discipline that you wake up and you're going to play that instrument. And you're going to learn more about it, and it's a relationship with it, really deep down. And the devotion is part of this relationship. It's an effort that you put towards something to help build it up more in the future. And it doesn't happen by accident.
Right.
It happens on purpose.
Yeah. I think it's something you're passionate about. And if you find your passion and it's part of your purpose, it comes natural. But I think it's good that you're saying, to focus on those things, which I think what you're saying is you are wanting and practicing to focus on those things that you're passionate about. And those things that you just said, that is what you're passionate about, right? Is like, being grateful for things, being mindful.
Right.
So you're devoting your thoughts to those to constantly remind yourself like, hey, I need to practice some mindfulness. Yeah. I need to practice not complaining, when Kanye asked me to do something. I think it's good. I think we all need a little bit of that, and, to look at the bigger picture, and, it's okay to read and study about it. But if you truly want to change yourself and change your life and change your perspective, I think it's definitely something, to devote your energy and time into your life to in the end, make you a better person, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And even because I'm passionate about the mindful thing, I still even this past week went a couple of days not meditating, and you just fall out of it. Even though it matters a lot to me, I love it. I want to be more mindful. If I don't devote the time or I don't spend the time to of my devotion towards it, right? Then I'm not being mindful,
right?
Even though it matters to me. Well, if I'm not devoting my time to be more mindful, which my devotion is meditation, then I'm not being mindful. I'm not caring about the thing that I actually care about.
Right.
And so it has to be an intentional, I spend a devotional time of my day towards the thing that matters to me.
And that's where it comes in handy to schedule your priorities,
right?
So that way you don't lose sight of the things that are most important.
Like Cadence with devoting time to basketball. If that's what she wants to do, you have to. It's a devotional thing. It's a relationship with that activity or that idea or that whatever.
Yeah,
you have It's a relationship, and you have to be devoted to it. Otherwise, the people who are devoted to it are going to pass you up.
Right.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's why I told her the other day. I said, you were sleeping until, if I wouldn't have went upstairs, she would have been in bed till 12:30.
Right.
Which probably was us as a kid, but my dad always was getting me up, hey, there's stuff to do. I said, what do you think people are doing whenever you're sleeping? She's like, working. I said, and what do you think those people that don't sleep and are working? And I'm not saying you don't need sleep. You need sleep. What I'm saying is you don't need to sleep till 12:30 in the afternoon. You need to get up. You know what I mean?
Why didn't you send me texts in my 20s?
So what do you think these other people that are working are going to be in life whenever you're sleeping and they're working? She said they're going to be successful. I said, okay, well, that should tell you something.
Yeah.
You don't need to sleep till 12:30. I don't care if you sleep in. I'm not saying I'm going to come up here at 8:30 in the morning and wake you up during the summer times, but don't sleep till 12.
Right.
Set your alarm for 9. Get up, eat a little breakfast, enjoy the day, because life and the day and just the light of life is so beautiful. And like you ever been driving down the road on a rainy day, you're yawning, you're wanting to eat everything under the fucking sun because it's gloomy outside, you want to eat shitty, you are tired, your head's hurting, you're sluggish.
Yeah.
But when you get up and you watch the sun come up and you're part of the whole daylight process. It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, well, that's what is it your circadian rhythm? You're supposed to.
Sounds right. Don't ask me that.
Right, it's like our humans are like we're synced with like night and day, right? So the sunlight is like you're supposed to get like 5 minutes of sunlight every morning, and that's part of like setting your circadian rhythm in your body. That's why like sleeping late, typically third shift people are miserable.
Yeah, and fat,
and every single one of them. No. But yeah, the idea of and with Cadence, it's going to be one of those things that. It's her personal relationship to that thing. There's nothing you can do. You can teach her the way that happens.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if she doesn't love it, it's like being in a relationship with something. If you don't love it, it's hard to devote to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole different thing at that point. So she has to decide what does she want to devote herself to. And maybe she's too young for that yet. Maybe she has, she loves karate and all that stuff too. But at some point, if you want to have like, I think a reward for it or to be where you want to be, you have to devote yourself to something. You have to commit to something, right? You have to find something that you 100% want to do and then do, right? And that's the thing I was thinking about, how confident I felt lately. It's because like I've just been doing, right? And I talked to my buddy the other day and what's that? You might not know it. What's the quote about idle hands? Do you know? Idle hands.
Like hands that don't
move.
Hands
that don't move.
Don't get nothing done, baby.
Don't get nothing done, baby.
That's my quote.
Yeah, right. But that's the idea is like you go crazy kind of because you're not doing anything. You got to keep doing because doing hits goals, it hits achievements. It gives you something to be proud of.
Self gratification is huge, too. It's like, and with old people, like that's why so many older people is like, I can't stop. I'm not going to retire because they know the second that they stop, they're just going to go downhill. I mean, my damn grandfather was 90 something years old, sharpening the mower blade out back on blood thinners.
Sharpening the mower
I mean, he's 93, sharpening the mower blade with blood thinners. And we're thinking, Papa, you're going to cut yourself and bleed out.
That's crazy.
Old people don't
I didn't even know you
stop.
could sharpen a mower blade.
Oh, you talk to those old folks, boy. They don't buy no new ones. They get the file out, the metal file, and shh. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. But that's why old people don't stop. And Whitney gets on to me sometimes because if it's raining, it's shitty outside, everything's caught up, there's nothing to do, I will pace the floors. I will walk around. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Clearly. And I stress out. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I'm on the go all the time, but I cannot just relax.
Okay, so is it too far?
That's what I was getting at. But I don't think it's too far because I'm satisfied. Like, I enjoy the busyness of life. What gets me in my head and like what stresses me out is when there is nothing to do. It's like, am I falling behind? Am I getting comfortable? Am I just being lazy? You know what I mean? Like I don't get stressed out when there is so much to do. Maybe I do a little bit, but I would be more stressed if there wasn't anything to do. Maybe it's.
Well, sometimes there isn't. Well, sometimes maybe there isn't anything to do that's of higher importance than relaxing. Do you think that there's a place for relaxing in life?
Yeah, about the 4 hours I get of sleep.
About 4 hours of sleep.
I mean, I think it's important for sure. And there's plenty of days where like I'm working and maybe I just am getting it too hard and I'm like, I just want a day to sleep in. I say that, but I'm not.
You're the type of guy that like working out is relaxation kind of, right?
Yeah. Yeah, going for a
You're
walk.
You're doing something, but
now I do like playing some video games. I feel like that's a little bit relaxing sometimes. For sure.
But even still, you usually play when you stream, so you're still kind of doing something.
Yeah, definitely. It would be cool to just sit there and be quiet and just play.
Just play a game by yourself. Yeah. No reward. Yeah. No accomplishment.
Maybe an occasionally, oh shit.
Yeah.
Just can't do that when I'm streaming.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it's just I do think relaxation is important. A massage. I love getting massages. I would devote one day a month to go get a massage.
If it wasn't so expensive.
With a
I've
happy
never had a
ending.
massage. Do you know that?
What?
I've never had a massage.
Now, what's expensive? What do you consider expensive? For an hour? $60.
Oh, God, yeah. That's a brand new video game, buddy.
I know what I'm getting you for your birthday. I'm going to get you a massage.
Well, when I was young,
And I'm going to make sure she's just this big old Russian chick. And she's like, Jordan,
yeah.
lie down. And she just,
Yeah.
she pops her knuckles before she gets into that back. Boy,
Yeah.
I'm going to set you up for success.
Well, I've always never wanted one because I think I'm too ticklish.
You're afraid to get a little stiffy, aren't you?
If she handles me like that.
Yeah, we're getting off topic. Sorry. Massages and happy endings are on my brain. But I think relaxation is there. I don't know. It's hard to find that for me right now.
Yeah.
And sometimes
What do you
I
think you'll do in retirement?
go and fucking sane. I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be just like my papa. I'm gonna be sharpening a lawnmower blade out there with on blood thinners. I mean, there's just no question. Like I have to be doing something. If I'm not doing something in here, I'm doing something outside.
Yeah.
You know, falling off ladders,
Fall off ladders. Yeah.
spraining ankles.
I was going to say, I think you're going to live longer, but I'm not entirely sure.
I did hear that if grandparents, and if you're a grandparent watching, or if you do have kids and your grandparent or your parents are involved with those kids, it's very important that your grandparents are involved with the kids because it gives them like a meaning of like I'm going to stay here and enjoy this time. It like makes them live longer.
I could definitely see that. I think it's very important for, first off, if your family, I mean, I know there's special circumstances, but if your family, you should really just kind of be involved regardless, probably.
Yeah.
To be
Come
honest.
around.
Yeah, come around everyone. But definitely I think like for kids to know like there's this older generation that's where you come from. That's like an important idea because I think, like they say, you don't know your history. History's just going to repeat itself.
Right.
And I think the more disconnected we come from generations, the more we think that like this is the first time any of this has ever happened.
Yeah.
And like, the internet, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of other things in the world have happened a million times over. People have been stressed before, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
When they were slaves.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of all world history.
I mean, could you imagine how stressful day one was of Jesus?
Building the pyramids and you're one of those slaves that had to do that?
Yeah. Hey, Sally, pack this up on your back while I whip you.
I'm a little depressed today, okay?
Yeah. I'd rather not. Well, quite frankly, I don't give a shit. You're going to take this block and you're going to go way up there and put it on the top of this peak.
I would have been the worst slave. They would have hated me. I would have had many lashings.
I wouldn't have made it. I would have been the one that was just fanning the king.
Yeah, I would have been totally fine with being that guy. The
or
jester.
feeding him grapes.
Yeah, to laugh. I'll humiliate myself to be lauged at. If that gets me a spot.
Sign me up.
I can see that.
So what are you going to be devoting to? Like, what is your main thing right now?
Caney.
Yeah.
I've really been thinking a lot on how do I make sure that each moment I'm not elsewhere thinking about things that like with this and music, a lot of that's all about me. And I spend a lot of time doing all of that about me. And outside of that, devoting time to, like when we went to the concert, there was a moment where I was like, you know what? Be present, look at Caney, interact with Caney.
Yeah, enjoy.
Be very here, having fun here. Stop watching them thinking, wish I was up there playing, right? Because that's hard for me not to do when I'm watching that. But to take time away from that, away from me, and devoting way more time to connecting with Caney and being much more present with her, because the time will pass and I'll look back and I'll wish that I had spent more time doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're going to do it right because obviously you're with Caney for a reason. Y'all are engaged. Y'all are going to be together forever unless a dolphin comes around. But for the most part, you're taking the present moment and you're enjoying it with the person who you love, and you're devoting that time with her, not to her, but y'all are enjoying it together, which is important.
And I think that I don't think I'd feel regrets later if I did that.
Oh yeah.
No matter what I sacrificed, I'd feel like that is worth sacrificing for.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to devote my time to, I don't know.
Well, it's not that hard. I've thought about it all week. It's an important question. I mean, you're talking about, you can't just, what am I going to devote my time to right now?
The study of dolphins.
Yeah, it's something to think about. It's something to contemplate on and to really think about what, talking about being what you're grateful for and listening to which ones. Maybe that's a good place to look at those things and see, well, if this is what I'm really grateful for, maybe this is something to devote my time to and to let it flourish into something more beautiful.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for the word of the week. I enjoy it. Devotion. What are you devoted for? Maybe you need to realign your priorities.
Yeah. Maybe it's God. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's some type of art you're doing. Maybe it's your music. Maybe it's your show. Maybe it's time to yourself.
Yeah. Figure it out and let me know. I'll let you know next week, hopefully.
I'll let you believe.
Well, now, guess what? It's been a minute since we've had this opportunity. We got a voicemail. You know what that means? We got somebody on the line needing some advice, and we're going to play it for you right now.
Gentlemen, thank you for taking my voicemail. It seems as though we have a problem today. I don't understand why kids today in our workforce have no work ethic. When is it going to come to an end? When will these kids learn that it's not okay to half-ass your job? Why are you working if you're not taking it serious? Gentlemen, thank you for all the laughs. Keep doing what you're doing, and I sure do appreciate all your hard work. Cheers.
Well, buddy, first off, I'd love to say we appreciate you and appreciate your time calling in, leaving a voicemail, and just needing some advice. So we appreciate you and thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling in. So kids and their work ethic.
I don't think you should explain this one.
Yeah, I'll be the kid. Daniel, you can be the employer.
I'm just kidding. I'll just play it.
No, I would like to actually hear where you're coming from first so I can react.
Oh, yeah. So I think it is just a time of life that we're in to where, I feel like there's a lot of entitlement. Maybe it's because of social media. Maybe it's like, kids feel entitled to be the certain way because they see life for what it really is not, maybe. I don't know. Or it's like everybody expects a handout or we owe them something or something. But, when I was younger, I was always taught not to do half-ass, but it was parenting that was involved too. My dad was ex-military. When I thought my room was clean, he would come in there and take everything and put it in the middle of my room, including my bed, and say, put it all back, and he taught me from a young age to not half-ass, whether it was with sports or cleaning my room or, building something, like give it 100% of what you have. And maybe it's just things are changing, maybe it's just a perspective. I don't know. I think it's always going to be the older people are always going to say, those kids don't know what the hell, they don't know what they're doing. Our grandparents said it about us.
Yeah. Oh,
our parents said it about us.
They've all said it about me.
And now I'm saying it about them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like a change. Maybe they just haven't learned their life lessons yet. I truly don't know. And I'm trying to look at it perspective-wise, it's like big perspective. Because honestly, I think we're fucked. But I'm trying to pull myself out of that and like, okay, what is the true reason? Is it because just life changes and life evolves and it's just everybody's way? But at the end of the day, people are going to half-ass until someone kicks them in the ass and says to straighten up, I feel like.
Yeah. What do I think? I think that the current situation, kids, and I think this is common, the younger generations grow up and they just care about different things than the older generations care about. The state of the world we're in today, the workforce is typically like a means to get you to something else. And I think people lack a sense of agency, which is like like you feel like the power to change your life, to have power in your own life. And this is going to be probably a take that maybe some people don't love as much, but I think the current situation of a lot of jobs that were offered are through corporations that own a lot, and you at the bottom, you can choose to work in their system and move up. And that's a way to do it. But if you don't want to do that, you're kind of screwed. Or you can do what we're doing and do all this effort and get paid $0. And how long will it take till we get paid anything to do this? And their dreams are to do something like this. And they're not going to get paid anything. They're going to be working for YouTube for free until they get paid. And I think that a lot of it is maybe just a sense of they don't give a shit about these corporations. No. They don't give a shit about the companies they work for. Why should they devote their lives to a company that clearly doesn't seem like they actually care that much about a lot of their low employees? And that's not to say that it hasn't caused some horrible bad habits of these kids of lack of focus and a lack of caring about working for something without things in return. But I do think that people feel a lack of agency, a fact that they have any control over their lives. I think a lot of their jobs feel like it has control over them more than they have control over their position in that company. Unless you play by those rules. And you know, as a person who's never played by the rules of that, I get where kids come from with that sense.
Well, I see what you're saying when you say major corporations, because I was a part of a major corporation, and it is like that. I mean,
play by their rules.
Yeah, play by their rules. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. You're easily replaced.
Right. And that is like, I get it. You're not forced to work anywhere. And that's that, obviously those are the great things about freedom and the great things about what we have, the situation we have.
But some of these corporations are built on that.
Yeah.
That alone, to where, you know, if you want to succeed, you do these certain things and you'll get there, but you're still, you know, they're making the most money.
Yeah.
They're all in about themselves.
Yeah. And you get the freedom of choice to go leave this corporation for the other one. That's all. And they have an infinite supply of poor people to cycle through that crappy job. And it doesn't give people a sense of agency, a sense that they have control over their lives. And I think kids feel that or see that. They at least don't give a crap about the company. And I think it just makes sense in the way. I mean, and I think you're right about social media and what kids want to do now. And there's not room for everyone to be a social media person, which is weird for me to say as a person who's trying to do it now. But there is like a weird state of the world because of that. But maybe it's just a phase. I really do think that people want to work towards something they believe in. Because I've been called lazy a lot in my life, and I've always said I've just never seen, a lot of the times, never seen a light to head towards. I feel like I could, like with this, I feel like I'm working pretty hard at it. And it's the first time I've worked hard at it, but it's because it's the first time I've seen a light towards something that meant, like, seems like a purpose, which gives me a sense of agency. Which all these things snowball, but I just don't think kids see a sense of agency in
that's
companies.
why I was going to bring up, I think it's so important that us as parents and us as grown-ups are mentoring these people that are like that, instead of just saying, you know what, fuck it, I get, you know, you're a piece of shit, you're lazy. Invest something into them to maybe like help them understand their purpose, to give them something to work towards and to give them some motivation to do great and do good in life. Maybe if we take our time, devote a little bit of that to the individual who used like, there's no help for this guy, you know, and you explain purpose, because no one explained it to me till we started talking about it for the longest time.
Our 30s.
And, you know, ding, you know, and now it's like, okay, time to get my shit together. Let's focus on what's important. You know, let's build something great. Talk to them, invest some time in them, and build a relationship with them. Who knows? I mean, this dude could be a multimillionaire in the future if you just take the time instead of throwing up your hands and saying, fuck it, this dude's fucked. You take some time, invest into him, and help him. Build a community.
And there'll be a couple of them that are fucked. I mean, that's a product of the society we live in. I think there's going to be a lot of people who, you know, I've talked about the self-education thing. somewhere at some point, the person themselves have to do it themselves, right? We've talked about that a lot. The kids will eventually have to do it themselves, but it's important for us to set an example that I just don't want to blame the kids, because a lot of the kids get just thrown around by the state of the world we're in. A lot of things happened before they were born, and it's hard to blame them for how they feel about that.
Yeah. But if you see it, say it. If you see somebody slacking, let them know.
Spank them, huh? You can spank kids, right?
Let them know.
You used to back in the day, man.
I know. My mother-in-law was telling me a story. She got paddled one day because a kid stabbed her in the leg with a pencil. And so she stabbed him in the leg with a pencil, but the teacher saw her stab him instead of him stab her first. So she got paddled.
I miss the good old days. Kids stabbing each other with pencils.
Hey, Jenny, look. Fuck you, James. I mean, Jesus.
Quapow, quapow.
Yeah. And then you go home and crying, and mommy and daddy's like, hey, what happened? Mr. Smith spanked me.
I'm sure that teacher went home and was like, this younger generation just stabs each other with pencils.
Yeah,
They're morons.
fucked.
They're fucked.
Completely. Well, thanks for calling in. And if you guys that are listening need some advice or something funny, something not funny, something serious, you need help, anything. If you would want to say, hey, thanks for doing what you do.
Yeah.
Call the number. Let us know. Let us know something we're doing right. Let us be able to help you. Let us invest some of our brainless humor and mindless advice into you.
That's right. And if you have something funny, too, that's totally cool,
Yeah,
too.
if you have a cool story.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear some funny stories.
I'd love to hear a funny story. Yeah.
That
If you
would
got
be
a real
awesome.
funny story, that actually is what I would like to hear. Yeah.
A funny story, family, by yourself, with your cat, maybe snorkeling with the dolphins, anything.
Or maybe if something we've talked about sparked something inside of you, just to share a message about something, send that in too.
Send it in.
Yeah.
Do you have the number by chance?
Yeah, well, I'll pop it up somewhere in the video.
Well, for the people that are listening.
Okay, the phone number is 615-669-7767. I'll do that one more time. 615-669-7767.
Yep. Call it. Leave a voicemail.
Yeah, you'll get a little voicemail message that'll be like, "Hey, welcome to the Dale George Show," and then after the beep,
And maybe Jordan will call you back.
and if you hate your message you left, you just call in again and leave one and say, "Hey, delete that last one," and then call again and delete another one. I'll get the idea.
Yeah. We're like, man, this guy sounds just alike. I'll delete it. But don't be the jackass who calls and he's like, hey, whatever voicemail is on there, delete them all.
Yeah.
Listen to this one.
Yeah.
But send this episode to somebody, like the video, share it with somebody. We really try to invest our time and energy, and we do a lot. And, not only for ourselves, we have a purpose and we have a mission, and you guys are a part of that,
Absolutely.
So thanks for tuning in. Always be awesome. And always remember that whether I'm snorkeling with the dolphins or we're devoting our life to our spouses, I'm Daniel.
I'm Jordan.
And we're
Daniel and Jordan.
We'll see you next time.
Latro.
By the way, if you do go snorkeling with the dolphins, send me a selfie.
Yeah, just wear some thick underwear or something back there.